Do you want to create, read your data, update your records, and delete your mistakes through your browser? Well, today I'm going to turn you into a Laravel master in just minutes. Before we dive into how to create CRUD, first you need to learn what is OOP and how does it relate to Laravel. OOP stands for Object-Oriented Programming. It is a coding style where everything is an objects that have properties and methods. For example, a car has properties such as color and speed, while a car has methods, or in other name, functions or actions such as start or stop. So, similar to a model in Laravel, it will have properties and methods which can be inherited to other models. Let's look at a real example on how relationship works. For this example, there is two relationship which is one-to-many and many-to-many. Take note that this is a separate file. This can be used in controller, while this is in model. Now let's look at what I have highlighted. Let's focus on this line right here. Has many and belongs to many. Has many is where the model will provide the data to the other model, while belongs to many is where the model need the data from the other model. Now let's look at the yellow highlight. As you can see, here is the same as here. So that means this controller take this function, which is taking the post from the post model to get the data. Now, this line right here will find the first ID, which is the first user. Then, for that user, it is going to search for posts that the user have and display the title for that post. Now, this is what we call encapsulation because it hides the queries and can directly display the title of the post from that user. So the output will be like this. Meanwhile, for many-to-many, it's the same. The controller will take the function of that model and we are going to search for the user ID. Then we are going to attach that role. For example, we have admin and client. We are going to attach the admin because it is the first role to the user. And this is what we call abstraction because it simplifies complex logic and you can just assign the roles to the user just like that. And this is what the output will be like. This user ID will have the first role. Now that you have a brief knowledge about what is OOP and how it relates to Laravel, we can finally make CRUD for our website. Let's start our Laravel code as usual. Then open our project. Let's first make our index, which will display the products list. Now we are going to continue creating our project for products. Let's start by making our controller, which is PHP artisan make controller product controller -r. This is for resource route, which will have all of the CRUD provided. This is how the file looks like. Now you can just fill it in inside the correct function. And for us, we are going to fill the function for index. In this function, it will display the data for products. So we are going to create a new variable, which is products, and interact with the model. And we are going to take all of the data. Then to return it to view, which is our blade that is going to display the data, we'll type in return view products.index. This is the name of the route. Compact products. Products from here. This product. Don't forget to link this model to the controller or else it's not going to recognize it. So use app models product. Now let's make a route to link it to view. Go to routes, but in here we are going to type in route resource products, then the name of your controller, which is product controller class. Now that we are using product controller, we need to import this. So just going to type in app http controllers and the name of your controller. I'm going to give a brief explanation on what each of these is. Get is what the method is, while profile is what the URL will be, and here is your controller and the method that you want to use, and this is the name of your route. If you are using resource, it will display edit, update, destroy, and more automatically. To see it, you can just type in php artisan route list, and right here you can already see that there's create all of the routes, which is index, store, create, show, update, destroy, edit. So you don't have to type in manually for each of your route. Now that we have our route ready, make a new view for our product, which is you type in php artisan make view products index. This is the name of your folder and this is the name of your file. Since we are using Tailwind CSS, I'm going to use it for this tutorial. First, we are going to link in the layout. Or in other words, we are going to include the layout. Then in here is where your content will be. So the class will be, then just follow this for layout. And we are going to make table. Then the head. For our products list, it's going to have products name, color, and size, and also action such as update and delete. So name, color, size, and action. And for action, we are going to expand the column to 3 columns because there will be show, edit, and delete. After making our table head, we are going to make our table body. We are first going to just list out name, color, and size. Ignore the action first. So to display the data, what we are going to use is looping because it will display each of the data as long as there's data or there isn't any other condition. What we are going to type in is for each and the name of the variable that we have sent from the controller, which is products, as product, which will hold the data, and in here we are going to say the attributes that we want, which is product name, and in this column is product color, and lastly for size is product size. Where do you get this name from? We can go back to our database and in products here, name, size, color. Now let's in our for each and go to our browser. As you can see, there is no button to go to product page. You can create one by making a navigation link, which is for Breeze is at layouts, navigation. And here, you can just copy, and the name of the route is products.index. Same goes to here. Then change this to just product. Now let's go back to our browser, refresh. Let's click this link. As you can see, it has displayed all of the data from the database. Let's look at our database to compare. Now that you managed to display all of the data, we are going to create a new data to insert to our table. First thing first, let's create a button to create our product. We are going to use hyperlink. And in here, we are going to type in the route name, which is route products.create. This link will go to create page. So let's just save add product. And to design the button, we can just use this. Now that we have this button, when the user click this, the route will interact to controller. So we are going to go to controller. And in here, we are just going to return view the name of the file, which is create. So now that we are returning a view, we need to make that view. So use the same command and just change it to create. Now that we have this file, don't forget to include the layout. And you can just copy and paste this line. And inside here, we are going to make a new form and include CSRF. This is going to generate a CSRF token for each user session to prevent from attacks. Then you are going to type in action. So for this action is the route name, which is route products.store. This method is what is going to process the data and insert it into the database. Then the method that we are using is post. Now we are just going to use this example. Create a new div, a label, and the input. You don't have to follow me word for word, but the most important one is the type and the name, because the type is to allow what kind of data the user can input, while the name is what the input will be recognized as. Then input color and input size. As you can see, it's the same as before, just change the label. Then in here is what the difference is. I use drop down, and if you notice, I use the same code for displaying data. This is because I take the option to choose color and size from the database. So how do you do that? First, we need to make the table for color and size. Let's go to migration and make a new migration. Colors table, and also make for size. Now that we have both of these files ready, let's first modify the migration for colors. So we are going to just use this, and for size we are going to use this one. Now in Laravel migration, it is going to migrate from top to bottom. So we need to delete this migration and make a new one, which is after the color and size. So let's make a new products table. And in this table, we are going to have name, then table. And in here, to link, we are just going to get the foreign ID from the color and size. So foreign ID, color ID, constraint color. Then do the same for size. Constraint size. Now let's try to migrate our new migration. Don't forget to use migrate fresh instead of just migrate because it will have duplicate products table. Now let's look at our database. Now it has colors and sizes and products. So now that we have create tables inside the database, we are going to make a relationship using the models. So make a new model for color and size. In here, as always, you just have to link this with your tables, then the attribute that can fill the table. Now let's make a relationship between color and product. Let's go back to product. We can change this into size ID and color. Now to actually make the relationship, we are going to type in public function color. This is the name of the function. Then you are going to type in return this. So I have explained the difference between has and belongs. So product, it needs the data from the model, so it will be belong. So belong to the name of the model. Now that you have linked this, you need to import the model. Use app models color. Let's do the same for color model. So public function product return as many product class. Now, why did I say has many? Because one product has one color, but one color has many products. Let's do the same for size. We just copy paste this for size. Sizes, size, and finish. Let's do this for size. And import the class. Now we have successfully made a relationship between product size and colors. Next, we are going to make a seeder for color and size. So in here, we're going to type in PHP artisan make seeder, color seeder. One more for size. So now let's create two color for the seeder. And one more. Don't forget to include the model. Next is the size. Do the same as the color. Include the model. Now in product seeder, we are going to change size to size ID and color to color ID. And in here, we are going to type in size in random order first, then ID. Do the same for color. Like always, since you mentioned the models, you are going to import the model. Now you need to change this in factory too. We no longer use this and change it to this. Same goes for color. Then import the model. Don't forget to change size to size ID and color to color ID. Then you can go to database seeder and type in color seeder and size seeder in here. Let's finally try. Let's check our database. Just refresh the whole thing. Go to products data. Now as you can see, this no longer says blue, red or anything else. We will just take the ID of the color and the size. So it will just call the data based on the ID. Now we can go back to our grade page that use this. Now I can finally explain how this works. As you can see, this variable is based on compact name that the controller sends. So now we have to send the data for colors and sizes in create function. So it will be the same as before, just change the name of the model. Colors, color, all. Then same goes for sizes. After you have mentioned the model, you need to import the model. Now both of this variable is going to be compact. Finally, the data can be displayed to choose from. Let's try it. As you can see, it displays all of this data. Since we didn't specify what kind of column or attribute that we want, so let's go back to our code editor. And here, we want color. And sizes, we want size. Here is what the name of the function is. Then this one is the name of the attribute that you want. Let's go back to our browser and see. Now it has been fixed. Let's go and add our product. As you can see, the option is only red and blue because in database for colors there is only red and blue. Same goes for size 5 and 10 because in database there is only 5 and 10. Now to actually submit the data, we are going to need a submit button. So type in button, then the type will be submit. Then add a little bit of CSS, then just type in submit. Go back to browser, and let's try to submit. There's no process yet, so let's make the process. To insert a data inside the database. The process will be in the store function. First, we are going to validate the data. We are going to take the request. The request validate, and inside here will be the name based on what you put here. So the name will be name, the color will be color, and the size will be size. Required. Then in here is where you are going to validate the data. For example, the maximum of the string, if it needs to be numeric, if it needs to be an email or it needs to be a password. So this is where you put the condition. And for name, it is maximum is 255. Then color will be maybe like 20. Then size will be numeric, since it need to be a number. Then after validating the data, you can insert it inside the database, which is typing in product, which is the name of the model, rate. Then inside here is the name of your attribute from the database, which is name. Then request name. So now this one is based on the name from the form. Now for color ID, it is color, size ID, size. Then if the data has been successfully inserted inside the database, we can redirect the user to the product index, which you can do by typing in return redirect route product store index. Let's give it a try, shall we? Let's insert a product name lipstick, the color red, and the size is 5. As you can see, the data has been successfully inserted. Okay, after this, we are going to edit the data. Let's start with creating our new button for edit and delete. Remove this part, and in here, you make a new hyperlink for edit. And a button for delete. The reason these two is different is because for button, I'm going to make a pop-up dialog in order to have verification before the user delete anything, so we can avoid if the user accidentally click the delete button. Now for the button, the type will be also button. Then we'll add CSS for this hyperlink and also this button. Now that we have created both of this button, let's check it out on the browser. As you can see, there is two actions that we can do for each of this row, which is edit and delete. For now, if we click on this, there's nothing happening. So we'll first make the edit button function. Let's go back to our editor, and in here, we are going to input a route. Then we type in products, edit, and beside it is the data. The reason we do it like this is so the edit controller can recognize the data that the user wants to edit. For example, we want to edit the name sofa. So the data for this row is going to be sent to the edit controller. This is called model binding. Now let's go to the controller for the edit method. And in here is where the controller will show the data that the user wants to edit. So just like the create page, we are going to send all of this data. You can just copy paste this and add this data as well. So the correct data that the user wants to edit will actually show. And we can change this to edit. So now we have to make a new view for the edit page. You can type in PHP artisan week view products.edit. So in here, you can just copy paste from the create view because it will be the same thing. So press Ctrl A to select all and Ctrl C to copy. Then in here, you delete this first and then press Ctrl V to paste. Now we start from top what you need to change is products.update, because in the product controller, this method is what going to handle the update data. Then don't forget to bind the product data. So for update method, it will use host 2, but you need to put method put, so it can actually update. This is the correct method for update. Now let's go back to the browser to check the button is actually working. We press edit for sofa. As you can see, there is no sofa in the name input. This is because we don't put the value first. So let's go back to our editor, and inside the input, you add in a value. And in here is where you will get this variable and choose what kind of data do you want, which for this input is name. Then for the select option, it's a bit different. What you need to do is, inside the option, you type in product color ID equals to color ID. This is to check if the color ID in the product table have the same ID in the color table, then it will be selected. Do the same for size. Now let's check it out. As you can see, it has selected based on the data. Now if we actually submit it, nothing happens because we have not made the process yet for update. So let's make it right now. In the product controller, first you are going to see this as string $ID. So you are just going to change it to product, which is the model name, and $product. So first you are going to validate the data just like before. You can copy paste this and paste it here. What has changed is, in here we are going to delete this, replace it with this variable, and here you type in update. I think that's it, so let's check it out. We are going to change the color to red. As you can see, let's change the color, and that means your update function has worked. Let's move on to the delete function. First thing first, let's close this table row. Then we'll make our model dialog in a separate file, which is the delete file. Let's make another view, php artisan make view products.delete, and in here we'll make our dialog. I just copy paste the CSS, so I'm going to go through what you need to focus on. First thing first is ID delete modal product ID. This is what you are going to put in your button, so it can be triggered whenever the button has been clicked. This part is to close the pop-up modal dialog. This line is what is going to close the pop-up dialog, then the modal dialog will be closed. Same as the button here for cancel. The most important part is here, the form. This form is what is going to trigger the delete function. Just like usual, the action is going to go to a route, and this time is this products.destroy, which is a method in the controller. Then you are going to send the product data using the method post. However, the real method is delete. Then this button is going to submit the data. Now that you know each of the parts and how it works for this modal dialog, let's make the delete button that we created previously actually trigger this modal dialog. Going back to index, and we are going to add in on click. Now if you go here, as you can see, this will trigger the pop-up dialog to close. And if you want to show the model dialog, I'm going to copy paste this, and this part we'll replace it with show model. Then don't forget to include the file. Now let's try to delete so far. As you can see, we haven't made the process yet, so let's make it right now. Go back to products controller, and in here, just like before, you are going to change this to product $product. Then take the product variable and type in delete. Then you can just return back. The difference between redirect and back is redirect is going to go to the page that you have assigned, while the back function will just go to the previous page. Now let's go back and refresh. Let's try to delete. As you can see, data has been deleted. Now let's go back to our controller, and if you have noticed, there is a show method. What I want you guys to do is take a new button to show the details of the product. You can choose whether you want to use a modal dialog or make a new page. It's up to you. We have reached the end of our video. This video is quite long compared to my previous video, but I hope you guys can follow along. As always, if you have any question, you can just ask and I'll try to help you guys.